Thank you all for coming. Myself and Dr. John Vukich are going to talk to you about 24 years of experience of charity care in Central America. Obviously, we've got a limited period of time, so we're going to give you overviews of it, some highlights, lessons learned, and if you have other questions, we're happy to answer those. I'm going to start. Dr. Vukich will continue. I think we have a half hour total. We'll probably talk for about 20 minutes or so, and then we'll have 10 minutes or so for questions, if anybody has those. Vukich's information did not transfer, but we do this together and have been doing it for quite a while. I'm going to give you my start because I've been doing it longer. I started as kind of a lone wolf many years ago in 1997. This is some of the things that we did. I started with an optometric group. There are 50 of these optometric groups around the world, and they do amazing work. They'll go into a place that has no eye care, and they'll hand out several thousand pairs of glasses in a week. So you can imagine what it does for the capabilities of the local population. Well, they find a lot of patients that don't have the need for glasses, they need cataract surgery. So I was assigned to a group. When they would hand out the glasses, the people that needed cataract surgery would come to me, I would take care of the cataract surgery. And I did that for a long period of time. Let's see. Yeah, well, there was a slow evolution of learning capabilities, building up of resources, things like that, basically making friends. One of the things that's interesting about Central America is it's close to us, and it's intertwined with world history in a way that you would never expect. So when you think about Italian cuisine, could you imagine Italian cuisine without tomatoes? Tomatoes came from Central America. So before Columbus came to the US, the Italians didn't have tomatoes. So I don't know what they were cooking, but it's changed a lot in the world. Same is true for corn in the US. Imagine Mexican or the US diet without corn. There would be a lot of people starving. Corn came from Central America. Same with a variety of potatoes. So literally, the Irish potato famine happened because the potatoes weren't originally from there, and they weren't able to survive in the normal way long term. This is me a long time ago, and I've been at it quite a while. And over that period of time, you learn a lot of lessons, and we're going to try to share some of those lessons with you. To give you an idea, we just saw Bionics and their amazing machine. This was our OR and our office in Honduras for 10 years. We had a nice, good old Chevrolet truck that would pull the trailer around. In the front was an exam lane, and the back was an office. The problem was the wind. So we had to tie it down against the wind because it would shake in a meaningful way when you're operating, and you couldn't walk into the trailer without it tilting. So we had a guy outside said, hey, somebody wants to come in. We stop, wait, okay, person comes in, the trailer tilts, okay, we start back in again. So just getting a OR with a concrete floor is a big upgrade from that. This is what real life looks like. A dime for perspective, a 6mm optic. Over here we have a typical Honduran cataract from the 90s. What's amazing about this cataract, you know, we talk about phaco time and all these other efficiencies. That cataract I took out of the eye with an extra cap, put it on a metal stand, and tried to cut it with a scalpel, and I couldn't do it. So a lot of cataracts down there don't work for phaco. Some do, but a lot don't, so you have to be prepared for a variety of choices. We do things very efficiently. So instead of having a super pinky, we've got a balloon filled with coffee beans and a rubber strap that goes around the head, and that's what we use, and it works quite well. It doesn't cost anything. This was our original OR in Central America that had a concrete floor. We were really happy with it at the time. We actually put a non-functional phaco machine back there just for kicks and grins. We would do extra caps every time in this room. And eventually we brought enough stuff that we would have this OR for our charity OR. It took 5 years to do that, of shipping and recycling, et cetera, et cetera. This was our first Researcj OR in Central America. The Symfony IOL was developed in this Researcj OR back in 2012. So that process was very interesting. It taught us about the possibility of Central America once again contributing to the world like they did with tomatoes and corn and things like this. We did this project for Abbott, and ultimately this lens became the Symfony lens. Abbott said that we brought this product to worldwide market 20 months faster than we could have anywhere else. During those 20 months, Abbott sold $260 million worth of Symfony. So all of a sudden we realized we had a situation that could be very interesting not only for the local population, but for the world. So imagine there were years there from 2012 to 2013 where the only people that had Symfony IOLs were poor people in Honduras, and they're going, wow, this works pretty good. And here's what the first one looks like. Here's what the high-level research clinic looked like at the time. That's a typical, at the time, nice research clinic in Central America. You'll see that it's changed over time. Our expectations have changed. This was our first build out to an upgraded clinic. Just showed it to you in process. It's about 3 stories. It's a nice place in San Pedro Sula. This one is actually in El Salvador, and Dr. Vukich is going to take over from here.
Well, thank you. You know, I'm a latecomer to this. Kevin built the foundation and had the experience and the knowledge and the personal connections to really set a foundation for something that we think has been meaningful and has changed people's lives. You know, when we're an industry, we're doctors, we provide care. In an industry, you provide the tools that allow us to do that. But it's sometimes not easy, but sometimes we're capable of forgetting that we touch people's lives in a very meaningful way, that we change the quality of life in a way that affects not just the person, but their family, their support. And we take for granted that we can do that, but to see the influence that we can have, and that we've come to a point now where patients are a little concerned if they're 20/30 instead of 20/20. We're talking now about patients who really do have a serious need, and that part of it has been really meaningful for us. All right, so this is a clinic that we have partnered with. This is the Quesada's clinic in San Salvador, El Salvador. This is a 3rd generation family of ophthalmologists with a long history of charity care. And these are individuals for whom they have built a practice that is world-class, but they saw the opportunity to partner in a way that we could provide even more meaningful care. This is a training clinic. We are dedicated to training surgeons, residents, fellows, and this has actually built, our mission really is not to be the great American surgeons who come in, do 50 cases, and then leave a wake of pseudofakes and really nothing behind. The idea is to increase the quality of care for the local surgeons so that they can then pass that knowledge on. If we are successful 10, 20 years from now, they won't need us at all. There will be an ecosystem that is self-sustaining and that is something that will support continued care and development of increased quality of care. This is John Hovhanessian, Kevin, of course, Gabriel, Rodrigo, his brother. So you can see it's a cast of individuals, both who are caring and who see this as a way to extend what we do in a way that doesn't just leave a wake of pseudofakes, but provides care in a more, I think, durable fashion. This is Gabriel, and this is a new research clinic. So we have developed the capability of doing upstream clinical research and have become a provider of quality research to look at new technology, new instruments, new devices in a way that allows, one, technology transfer to a region that really has not had that, but secondly allows industry to look at how they are going to provide the next quality of care, the next level of care for the instruments that they are developing. And this is done in a very, very transparent way. So this is not a matter of like going to Central America and on the QT doing something. We have an IRB, we have oversight from the government, we have actually do work for all of the majors, so we are ecumenical in that regard. We have been audited by all the majors, and you know who they are. They've sent their team down to go through our records in a very, very significant and fastidious way, and we've been given a 3-year all clearance to do any upstream research for all of the majors that you know who they are. So we're very proud of that, and we hold ourselves to a very high standard. This is the Robles family. This is in Honduras. This is a region that is, again, we're forming partnerships with clinics that have this long-term commitment to charity research. This is the beginnings of their new clinic. This is Hector Robles, Marco, Pablo, and their wives. This is a clinic where they owned the land, excuse me, they owned the land, and they basically they put everything out. They put their retirement, they mortgaged their home, they did basically everything they had, and they built a building. But that's all they had. Kevin, through his ability to get donations and our ability to work with industry to provide resources, we have completely outfitted the building, and that means everything from waiting room chairs to world-class ORs, and this is a clinic now that is dedicated to teaching, to providing quality care, and to charity care. This is a little bit of a close-up. Again, this is the next generation. Pablo and Marco and their daughter or not their daughter, their sister is finishing up her residency in Germany in ophthalmology. And so this is a family that has dedicated their lives, and their family history is tied to the development. This is Marco and his wife. This is again, just a lovely family that are so dedicated, and to that extent we are eternally grateful to have people who we both trust and like so much. This is the clinic building. It is, if you were to take this picture and say it's on the Stanford campus, you would probably say, man, I can see that. This is the private patient entrance. On the other side of the building is the charity patient entrance. So it is the exact same building, but two different entrances. Again, just understanding that's a different patient population and to keep them separate. The charity patient area has a dormitory in which we can have a male and female overnight accommodations because people travel a long ways. These are small villages where it is not uncommon for a 6, 7, 8 hour drive on literally dirt roads and paths to get to the clinic facility, and they'll often come with family members. And so we have the ability to house them for free. We have the ability there's a kitchen there, and we have a cook who cooks for them, and this is the sort of thing that, again, not only is welcoming, but patients are receiving world-class care. This is the OR. We have 4 ORs, and remember, they had nothing. These were blank walls. These are stock to world-class specifications. Charity patients and private pay, it's the same ORs, exact same ORs. ORs are down the middle of the building. Some come in from one direction, some come in from another, so everybody receives the same quality of care, and we're very, very proud of that. These patients who are charity care, we talk about charity. It's actually everybody pays something. Nothing is done for free. About a third of the patients pay $1. If they can't afford $1, we loan them $1, and we ask that at some point they pay it back, and they almost always do. The other end of the scale, a minority of patients will pay. The highest is $200, and that really is what covers our cost, our true all-in cost to do a case. But because we use donated equipment, we use donated IOLs, and we basically are very good at bringing in things that we consider medical waste or expired, which are really not. I mean, we will take any equipment and anything we can use. The $200 is enough to fund 3 or 4 additional cataracts. And that patient who pays the $200, they know they paid more than the person who was behind them, but they're from the same village. We bring them all in from the same area, and we make sure that the people who live in that village know that the rich person who paid $200 subsidized or paid for the other 3 or 4 people in the village to get surgery. It's a win-win. They get the recognition, they feel good about helping their community, they don't feel bad that they paid a little bit more, and they receive the same quality of care. It's I think a system that is sustainable and people feel good about. Here's where we are. This is part of what we're looking at in terms of, now it's not just the clinics that we work at and we talk about. Hello, Steve. So we are looking to train individuals, surgeons, and develop the ability to populate the area with clinics. So we bring in donated phaco machines and microscopes, and we'll train surgeons, residents, and fellows that we treat. When they finish and complete, we give them 2 phaco machines, a microscope, 5 or 6 sets of hand instruments, and we establish a clinic for them. We provide them with all the support, and here's the catch. They have to do a percentage of their patients as charity care. They also are allowed to use the brand of Central American Eye Clinics, CAEC. It's a brand of quality that now has quite a reputation. If a patient comes and they see that they know they're being treated by a doctor who's a CAEC doctor, they know that they're going to get high quality care. And so these are the areas in which we have populated clinics. Each one of those stars represent a clinic. Hats off to Dr. Waltz for having seen the capability and the potential to take and to franchise, if you will, and scale the quality of care that we are able to provide in one clinic and bring that to a greater community. I don't know that it is hyperbole to say that we believe we are changing the quality of care in an entire region. And this is, I guess, a mission, but something that we can feel really good about. 10 million people that are in this area. What is it? There's 90 ophthalmologists in the entire country, over 50 of which live in one small city. And the areas that we are now populating with these clinics are just significantly underserved. Service areas of 2 million people with 2 ophthalmologists, 3 ophthalmologists. So these are areas that are definitely needed. So there are so many great ideas in ophthalmology. How do we now leverage this need with our need to innovate and to create the next generation of equipment, of whatever it is we're doing, whether it's microscopes like we saw, whether it's glaucoma procedures or cataract procedures, and these are all things everybody always has an upstream project, always. And how do those projects come to fruition? They work with clinics like ours, and we have partnered. We're ecumenical. We have partnered with every one of the majors, and we are partnering with BVI. Thank you for any support that we get from you, but to be able to look at the next stream of instruments that you will have access to, that you can provide doctors, and the perfection of that, the understanding, the teaching, this is part of what we do. Don't have to talk about the FDA. We know that they're difficult. This is becoming not only just a U.S. problem, but it's a global problem, that there's more and more bureaucracy to innovation, and we have been very fortunate to be able to work in a region that embraces technology. And this hasn't come easily. We work with the local government regulators to let them know exactly what we're doing. They embrace the idea that they are now a center of innovation, that they are part of what is moving our quality of care on a global basis forward. And so that has been very, very positive. It's bringing recognition to an area that previously depended upon Cuban itinerant doctors to come in, and it was, I think, lumpy to say the best in terms of the quality of care, and the dedication was not that great. This is a very different level of commitment that we're bringing. We have partnered with the Catholic Church. This is a country that is, I don't even know what the real number is, but I think if it's not 100%, it's darn close. The rounding error would be 100% Catholic. So we work with the clergy to provide access to patients who know the local priest will know who in their congregation needs care, and they'll point out and bring them to us. And so this has been a way that's been very, very positive. We mentioned that some of these patients can't afford a $1. The church will loan them the $1. And in response, they have to their family will sweep the pews of the church on Sundays for a month. Perfect. Everybody's involved, everybody's engaged, everybody feels that they're contributing. And it's a very positive thing. So we are doing very, very high-tech things. Quesada, these are all things now we can talk about because they're public. Quite frankly, there's like a whole nother layer to this iceberg that we can't talk about, because these are meaningful and significant projects that all of the majors are working on. Here's one that's been presented publicly. Clerio Vision. This is laser-induced refractive indexing. This is space age technology that I didn't even know existed, and it is so cool. We've done first in man refractive changes. Does everybody know what LIRIC is? Laser induced refractive indexing? Yeah, thank you. This is, I guess we're not going too much into that, but it is a method by which we change the index of refraction in a uniform substance and create a lens. And it is just wildly innovative technology. So it used to be, to make a lens, you would take a glass which has a uniform index of refraction and you change the shape. You put a curve on it or a toric surface, and that's how you focus the light. Now we take a uniform surface, flat surface or whatever surface we want. Inside that surface, we change the refractive index at the submicron level, and we create a lens inside that surface. The outcome is you can make contact lenses that are uniformly thick, comfortable, and have a huge range of power. You can change the power of an implant inside the eye and change the corneal power. And this, I think, is going to be the next step that takes LASIK into the next level, which is we're not removing tissue. We're taking the same human cornea and we're making a thin lens inside. And so this is upstream clinical research that we are doing. These are some of the projects that have been sponsored. Refocus, let's take a look for visibility. AccuFocus, the Intralace, the Symfony lens, the Ivantis Hydrus, the Zeiss MyLoop has been done in this area, and the list goes on and on. You can see Alcon's Fluid Vision, their shape-changing lens, their next big entree into a lens now that changes with accommodation. We are doing the seminal work on this, the next level. And so the work that we're doing is meaningful and real. And so how does all this play into charity? We started off with charity. What this does is it brings the sort of technology to support the types of surgeries that we're doing. These companies want to know with very high level of confidence, what is the instrument doing? What is the outcome? What are the images that we can gain? All of which we are now using both for these research projects, but also for the delivery of care. And so, quite frankly, the clinics that we work at there, I wish my private clinic had half of the technology that they have, because it's all totally cutting edge. And it's almost like a James Bond movie, where you kind of go in and you just go, oh my God, we're gonna have some fun here. Let's see here. Glaucoma, right. So what is the value of clinical research? Well, we know that this is not only necessary, but it can be done in a way that leverages the support from the majors and the influence that they have, and quite frankly, we charge them for this, right? And it subsidizes the care that we provide. And so how do we recruit patients? We recruit through the clergy, but we also have full and complete recognition for vulnerable populations. These are patients who couldn't get care otherwise, and so there are certainly human research guidelines that we follow. And so the way we work is, if you are screened, if you have a problem, doesn't matter if you're in a project or not. If we touch you, if we see you, you will get the care you need. So commonly, there will be 70% of the patients that are screened, maybe higher, will not be in part of a clinical research. We'll offer them that, but they will get the care anyway. And so how do we fund that? How do we fund it? The people who are part of the clinical research, they pay, the companies pay. The money that we get from that is now funneled back into subsidizing the patients who are seen, who didn't do that. Now, what happens for the patients who want to be part of a clinical project? Quite frankly, they're standing in line. These are individuals who are getting the best technology lenses that I hope I'll have access to in 5 years. These are patients that are getting the sort of care that is next generation of what we are already saying is state of the art. And so it's not like we're doing things that are somehow subversive. These are the sort of things that I wish that we had and I could use in America, and they're getting this. So without fail, patients know that it's a really good thing. If you get asked to participate, they stand in line for it. And so, that part of it we cherish and we covet that reputation because we know how important it is. What does it do for the clinic? It's brought a level of pride and a level of accomplishment to that area. It generates income, and I think you're getting the sense of how there can be synergy with we can do well by doing good. And again, hats off to Kevin. I mean, like I said, I'm a latecomer to this. I've only been involved for 7 years or so, and Kevin's got 3 times that amount in history. All of this was built on a level set foundation that Kevin put together in a trailer a long time ago, and you can see we've come a long, long way. So to that, I don't know where we are. It's skills transfer, it's technology transfer, it's pride of accomplishment, it's developing a regional sense of accomplishment and pride that we think, again, I don't want to sound like we're overselling or hyperbole, but we think that we can transform the quality of care in a region by teaching other physicians, by providing access to high technology, by populating other clinics in the area, and developing the sort of milieu that is not only self-sustaining, but contributes to the world's knowledge. And to that extent, I think we've been successful. Here is the Clerio Vision team, again, first in man treatment for this LIRIC technology, which again is just over the top amazing. But again, we have had the privilege of hosting over 50 of the world's leading surgeons who have come in to visit, to work with us. There's a really good chance that if you are working with someone or in contact with someone who is, considered a key opinion leader, right, whatever that means, somebody who's willing to get up and talk, there's a really good chance that they've been down there already. Really good chance. So that's where we are. This is from Scott McRae. So what does it take to innovate? It takes a will to put yourself out there, to learn, to stay up, answer emails at night, get up early for the conference calls, get out and do the sort of things that make a meaningful difference. It's a lot of work, a lot of paperwork, but it's very, very meaningful. And so to that extent, we have a great network of surgeons who support what we do. You may recognize at the back of the heads, but you may recognize a few faces in there. Again, most people are pretty quiet about this, by the way. They have their practice, they have what they do in America, but a lot of docs don't really talk about what we love and what we do that nourishes us in a way that would be more meaningful than a wake of pseudo-fakes as we go through our career. Can we leave a little good behind? And that is exactly what it has happened. So I've probably gone over a little bit, but thank you, BVI. You guys are great. Another great supporter. You may not know that. You may not know that, but you all are partnered with us as well and provide both some of the things that we need, and we look forward to continuing to work with BVI. So it's a great relationship, and I think it rounds out. I mean, if you can take pride in what you do, you should. You can take pride in the commitment of who you work with and what you do, knowing that there is not only a mission to sell something, but to maybe spread a little bit of extra good around. And to that, I think we can all feel pretty good about it. So, congratulations. Thank you.